There ain't no party like a bull party, and today that is true because the S&P closed at a new record high. Not only did the S&P 500 close at a new record high, we saw SMH or semiconductors also close at a record high. What else did we see? We saw RSP or equal weight S&P 500 closing out at a new record high, which is now over the previous all-time high. Oh my goodness. And we also even see it over in Germany. So if stocks are about to explode, there's a little bit of evidence. First of all, we are back into extreme greed. And on March 18th, NVIDIA is going to be hosting, I think it's called GTC, similar to Apple WWDC, where they're going to talk about everything AI related. And because this stock has just been on an absolute tear, I think that whatever they say is likely going to move the market. There's a few more things I want to talk about, which include the fact that we had the ECB have a rate decision today. And as I noted, the DAX closed at a record high. That's Germany. Jerome Powell spoke for the second day, and nothing really happened. So now what it really comes down to is we've gotten through a lot of economic data so far, but tomorrow at 8:30 a.m., we're going to get payroll, unemployment, but most importantly, in my opinion, these average hourly earnings, which we're expecting to see to go from 0.6 back down to 0.2. This would be very well received because this would mean that the labor market is starting to see some signs of softening, which means that inflation's coming down. And we did not really hear any headlines from Jerome the last couple of days. What does that mean? Looks like the tie is just tight enough. We're not suffocating, right? We're in a Goldilocks scenario. We're currently waiting for the cut, but it's not quite here yet. All right, before we go further, I'm going to ask you for a huge favor. If you could please consider smashing that thumbs up and subscribing to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. And I really appreciate everyone's support. You really make me happy to come on every day and to share what I think. All right, so here was the second most important data point for the week. It's average hourly earnings, and I'm expecting that to be the bullish catalyst. The other thing I would note is that when we look here to the weekly chart, ironically, we talk about this. When we're on strong support, that's right when people want to sell. Marginal higher low, marginal higher low, marginal higher low, marginal higher low, marginal higher low. This has happened multiple times on this staircase higher, a stairway to heaven. Why? Because we come down to support, and where we would expect to find buyers, we've not had to test higher time frames like the monthly. We just keep seeing hollow candles. And if it's hard to see on the screen, it just means the charts are going up, right? If it's easy to see, like these full candles, we're going down. So what do you want? You actually want it to be hard to read at home. Sometimes I flip back and forth between candles hollow and full. I just like hollow because it tells me that if it's mostly black, we're mostly going up. And whether it's green or red as we're going lower, it just means we're going into a contraction. So on a monthly time frame, hey man, we're expanding, and it's a boom, right? It's booms. Why? Let's go to SPX. We know this pattern. We've talked about it many times before. And as it's starting to happen, even I'm having a hard time believing it. But we're seeing more and more AI stuff. And this was not really as mainstream in terms of it being a huge tailwind to the market until like really this year. If we look to the heat map, it's pretty obvious. We look at year to date, and what do we know? Well, on the year, oh my goodness, NVIDIA's up 294% in the last 12 months. But year to date alone, up by 88. Its block is nearly as big as Apple's now. What does that mean? Well, it means if Apple is sucky, but NVIDIA is strong, man, market goes up. It's that simple. And Apple's been really soft. We talked about Apple and Tesla being weak because of China, and Google really sucking because of their chatbot. There's one thing that I did note today, and there's a lot of news, but I'm trying to keep the video tighter. So let me see if I can find this video here. Here we go. I watched this earlier. Microsoft's engineer warns AI tools create problematic images. What did it do? Let me find it because it's actually a little bit funny. So if Google messed this up and Microsoft is currently the biggest company in the world, are we going to see the company actually get punished for this? I'm not sure they will, but okay, I know it's in here. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. You can read it, right? YouTube does not like when I say these words, so I'm just going to leave it here for you. You can read them. Microsoft messed this up. That's Microsoft. They've invested into OpenAI, but Microsoft trying to do this on their own, man, it looks like they're struggling, right? Looks like they stink. Looks like they're like a Google, right? Sucky town. And because they're the biggest company, the only one currently worth over $3 trillion, what they do really matters. So Google's been a little bit too strict. It looks like Microsoft is not strict enough on these things. All right, so we've talked about this pattern. And I'm noticing a lot of AI themes coming to fruition now. So I'll show you a couple of things here. This one here is from Palantir. Again, another video from CNBC. They get a new contract for U.S. Army to build an AI-enabled vehicle. They won this over Raytheon. So they're a software company, but now they're building a hardware asset. And then I noticed this news from Cloudflare as well. Again, a company that I like. They're talking about an AI firewall. Okay, so AI is like really coming out here. Yes, it is. And then we've also talked about this one recently. Humanoid robots at Amazon Prime provide glimpse of automated workplace. Okay, so everyone's on the AI hype train, and NVIDIA is probably going to deliver on the 18th. Who has not delivered yet? Apple. So when they host WWDC, or Worldwide Developer Conference, in June, we need to hear about AI from Apple. But as of right now, the market has not had the Magnificent Seven, right? Sucky, sucky, sucky. These ones suck. So if 3 out of 7 suck, they're not really magnificent. So I think we really have a chance to start really picking up more steam tomorrow. If we think about this, we're only, again, keyword here being only at 75 extreme greed. While we've been higher, the market can get frothier, and that'll be very interesting. So if we now zoom back out to where we started the week to where we are now, we've gotten through all of the important data, right? We got through all this data. Tomorrow is really important, though. It's the second most important data point for the week. And we went to as low as, if we check in here on SPY, let's go to our weekly chart. Our low of the week is 504.91. So what did we do? Man, we came all the way down to support 2. We went to 510. We went to all the way up to, do we hit 517? I don't think so. 515. So for support and resistance, right now, the bulls are winning. And then last thing would just be that we want to also just think about the fact that we see the S&P, the Dow Jones, and the Russell all overbought. Let's see how those charts look really fast here. So on the weekly, what does the Dow look like? It's red. Okay, well, this just means there's divergence, right? Where some stocks are making new all-time highs, like chips, like RSP, but it's not created equal. Not all stocks are going up. Some of the industrials, ironically, Microsoft's is in here. So those ones are softening a bit. Amazon's now in there. What about the Russell? Russell is closing set to close over the previous candle high. It's green. It looks good to me. So the Russell is still overbought, but it can remain more overbought. Okay, let's push forward here. The U.S. debt is now $34 trillion, but don't worry. Seriously, pinky promise, no issues. We'll talk more about this after. And then finally, Joe Biden does have a State of the Union address tomorrow. And if you want to find out more, I would encourage you to go tune into our pre-market show, where I did go through and talk about our paper trade system. I presented some ideas. We had buy on a few. Otherwise, I will be back for the final hour tomorrow into the stock market close. The weekend deep dive is now queued up here on the left-hand side for more context. Otherwise, I will see you at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Thanks so much.